Welcome, my tarot friends, to yet another episode in our series called Under the Magnifying Glass, where we are looking at the Herbcrafter's tarot at the moment. Today we're going to be diving into nines and the major arcana cards that associate with it. Firstly, I'm going to share with you what I discovered when I journeyed into each of the cards, and then we are also going to look at what the guidebook says about each card and compare them to the major arcana cards and see how the meanings correspond to each other. So let's just dive in, shall we? So if we firstly look at number 9 in tarot and what it represents, it is about initiation, breakthroughs and completion. Numbers 7 to 9 are the last trinity in tarot where one is challenged to connect with one's higher self. Each time you pass through this cycle, you become an initiate, ready to start yet another cycle of deeper understanding of what your purpose is. In nines, one rises above adversity by being neutral and at one with the divine, and one's heart is at peace. The number 9's experience is like a journey of death and rebirth. You travel to the underworld of darknessness, awakening and embracing the new light of dawn, understanding a deeper sense and awareness of who you are and your connection to the all and divine. In number 9, we seek truth, explore and expand. Nines bring an awakening that moves you to a higher place of knowing the self and so bring you to the end of a cycle, and you're prepared for another journey on your quest of self-realization. And then in the Herbcrafter's Tarot's guidebook, when it talks about nines, it says that they represent fulfillment and enjoyment. They're represented by the fruit-bearing trees, which are treasures of the sustainable food forests. Fruit trees are usually in the middle of a guild, which is a grouping of plants grown together to increase longevity, production, and sustainability. The trees are so surrounded by ground covers, understory herbs and vegetables, pollinators, etc. These trees are beneficial to all beings. They stand by themselves, yet in service to the whole. The plants in the nines celebrate the Herbcrafter's triumphs, the Herbcrafter's wins. The Herbcrafter is now able to enjoy the fruits of her labor. She is able to handle grief. So she's able to go through grief and to experience grief in a way when it doesn't stop her from living, from exploring, from expanding. And she can nurture and take care of herself and others without depleting herself. The maturity of nines is possible by saying yes to the invitations of the sevens and then overcoming the challenges of the eights. The nines also represent the culmination of the Herbcrafter's adventures through the 3 mini-dramas. She has been introduced to the ways of the healing plants and learning to work well with others. Now she revels in the completion of her journey and awakens to the power of the soul. How beautiful. Now, if we firstly look at the 9 of air, which has a pomegranate tree or fruit on it. Now, what meanings I found from these pictures were, the first thing I noticed was the knife here, and that obviously represents the suit of air. This cut pomegranate reminds me of a heart, of a bleeding heart, actually. So that automatically makes me think of the 3 of air. Now, you will see throughout all these cards, they all relate to the 3s as well, which is very interesting because 3 times 3 is 9, right? So we see the clouds here at the back, and these clouds look to me like the storm type of clouds. In me, that triggers that the feeling that one gets before the storm. So it could be either anxiety or an excitement, but I feel most people feel a bit anxious before the storm arises. Not me though, I'm very excited, I love storms. We also see the seeds that are falling all over the table. That creates an unpleasant feeling in me, like you have no control, aka that again represents anxiety, right? Anxiety is a fear of not being able to control the future. We see that there is a path through the desert that leads to the top of the mountains here, and that to me means walking through the desert and climbing the mountain is unpleasant and harsh, but when you get to the top, you will be experienced and wiser, and you will have a higher perspective onto things. And then if you look into the guidebook, the first 3 points say, no love, no grief. And what did I say? that this connects to number 3, because 3 of air talks about grief and overcoming grief. Claim your underworld crown. Later, it's going to explain in the guidebook how the pomegranate is related to the underworld. You are the sky, everything else is the weather. And that is a quote from Pema Churdön. I'm not sure if I pronounce this correctly. And then it continues in the guidebook. Let go of what you cannot control. And that perhaps relates to the stormy clouds, because you can't really control them, can you? Pomegranate is associated with grief, as Demeter's daughter in the Greek myth ate the seeds of the pomegranate and sealed her faith as queen of the underworld. Therefore, this suggests that this card indeed does relate to 3 of air, as it also is a card of grief. A hike through the desert will prove that pain is one way to wisdom. When heartache enters your life, do not turn away. Do not hurry your grief. So you can't hurry it, like you can't hurry through the desert either. You need to take your time when you walk through the desert, because otherwise you will fail, because it is a very harsh journey you have to take if you travel through the desert. And you need to take your time and be smart about how you travel through it. The deeper the sorrow, the more joy you can contain. So it's kind of like the sorrow digs a hole into you, but then that hole can be filled with joy later on. Pomegranate fruits must be harvested at the right time. It won't ripen off tree. I didn't know that. That's a very interesting fact. Like so, you will live through shattering experiences and still stand proud. When you're ready, let go of guilt, regret, worry, and invite in forgiveness. How wonderful is that? And then we have crafting. Write your grief with a feather in pomegranate juice. I like that. Drink the pomegranate juice to calm the spirit and heal the heart when it is overcome by emotion. I really enjoyed this card, because I remember the first time I saw this card, I was a bit confused, but then with this deck, you really need to take time and sit with each card and notice the details and think of, what do these things in the card remind me of? Where does my mind travel when I look at this? And then when you allow this to happen, the meanings just come to you, I feel. With this deck, you need to allow it. You need to allow it deliver the messages to you through your intuition. I feel it is indeed a very intuitive deck, actually. Let's continue to 9 of Fire, Wild Cherry. So my observations were, firstly, you can see fire here, the background, which tells me that this is a fire suit. A lot has been done, because we can see the plants harvested here. At the same time, even though lots was done already, we are still doing things. So lots have been done already, we've been through a lot, but yet we are still standing and still doing the work. I see 3 bottles here on the table, and again, that reminds me of the 3s. And 3 of Fire was all about creative expression, and this scene looks a lot like a very busy creative scene as well. As I was saying before, one has harvested all that they have done, and to have come to this point here where you achieved so much, you had to stay determined and hardworking. Also, now is the time to create with your hard-won harvest. As this reminds me of 3 of Fire, like I said before, I would say that this is the invitation here to be expressive and creative in your crafting. We can see the brick wall at the back, and this brick wall talks about being in a solid place to me, like you are somewhere where it's solid, where you've achieved a lot and you have that stable ground kind of feeling. And if we look at the colors for a second, you can see that they're all colors of the rainbow here, the whole spectrum of colors, which again speaks of some sort of completion and alignment to me. It talks about richness, you know, like the 7 chakras, 7 colors of rainbow. It's a very completed type of feeling because of that. And then if we look at the guidebook, it says, radiant power, humble spirit, sweeten work with play, satisfaction flourishes when you stay the course. Like I got from the picture as well, you had to stay committed to the course in order to achieve what you have achieved. In fact, this is a celebration of a festival called Lamas. It says that we can see the Lamas altar honoring the first harvest. The fruits of creative passion feed the spirit. Perseverance and determination cultivate courage. Approach your responsibilities with excitement and energy. Lamas celebrates many months of dedication to the land. Your efforts have paid off. It is time to make magic with your hard-won harvest, and magic is creation, creativity. So a beautiful connection to 3 of fire here. Wild cherry is used in many different and delightful potions and remedies. Invite playfulness into your work. Again, it reminds me of 3 of fire. Express personal power through creativity. Again, 3 of fire. Let your spirit glow like the bright red berries. Again, 3 of fire. You have the strength and stamina to meet life's demands with confidence. Isn't that amazing? It's like 3 on steroids kind of feeling to these cards. And for crafting, I chose 1 point here. It says, play with cherry blossoms. Craft a flower elixir for strength and stamina. And if we now move to 9 of water, peach. My observations were, looking at this scene makes me feel content, peaceful and free because of the ocean. It's calm and inviting. There is a gown hanging here from the tree. And perhaps this person went swimming in the sea naked, because there is an immense sense of freedom on this picture and liberty. And if you ever swam in the ocean naked, you would know that the feeling of freedom and liberty is felt. The pink blossoms here are evoking a sense of beauty, but also love in one's heart. It reminds me of top heart chakra, which is pink, a true emotional content and happiness in one's heart. The peach elixir here feels refreshing and satisfying. We also see 3 crystals here, again connection to the number 3. And then if we look into the guidebook, the first 3 points say, celebrate the pleasures of life. Delicate blossoms ripen into succulent fruit. Enjoy your own sweet company. I like that. And then it continues, emotional nourishment is food for soul. Invite comfort and happiness to fill your heart and enchant the senses. Peaches trees are messengers of delight. Watch flowers dance. Now listen, this is relating here to all the senses. It says, watch flowers dance, taste the sweet fruit, smell fragrant blossoms, feel cool leaves, listen to the birds sing from branches. So it's awakening all of our senses and being in that present moment and really enjoying it. Peach tea cools inflammation. I did not know that. Wash away the heat of negativity and disharmony in yourself. The luscious fruits of the peach tree are gifts of summer. So when your deepest wishes come true, enjoy them. So here we have that traditional meaning of the 9 of Wands, like the wishes coming true. And here it says that, you know, every year the peach tree gives the gifts to the earth, to the inhabitants of the earth. So it is a gift. So they are gifts. It is a gift to us. It is the wishes fulfilled. And it's important that we show our gratefulness for the blessings that we're given. And then we have crafting. Enjoy a cool peach on a hot summer's day. Let each juicy bite be a meditation and joy. And then one more crafting point. Honor yourself with a sacred bath of peach blossoms, essential oils and perfumes. So really enjoying and indulging into that beautiful feeling and happiness and contentment. I really like this card. This pink is so beautiful as well. We move to the 9 of Earth, which is apple. My observations here were, apple seeds look like pentacles if you look inside. So a suit of pentacles, plus we have baskets, which are suit of pentacles. A pile of baskets on the shelf here. They will last for generations to come. Dried apples will provide dessert or food for a very long time as well, because they stay for a very long time because they're dried. And we see the abundance of apples here in the basket. The walls are green, and that reminds me of heart chakra. And that speaks to me about abundance felt in the heart chakra that is associated with hands, which are all about giving and receiving in this deck. So share your abundance. This is the message that I get from this. On the shelf we have cinnamon, sugar and oats, and they all speak about luxury and having it all, having everything you need and more, because these are extras, right? These are extras. Apples are of red color, and that again, if I relate this to chakras, talks about root chakra, and it feels like our basic needs are taken care of, especially to do with our home and family. And then if you look into the guidebook, it says, savor the fruit of paradise, peace and plenty. I love how they related this to the paradise. Celebrate wealth by giving. And this is exactly what I got just from this green wall at the back. The hidden star of hope sustains us. The pentacle or star inside of the apple which relates us to the star which is kept in the hermit's lamp, which is number 9 as well. How cool is that? And then it continues, reciprocity is the key to sustainability. Restraint and self-control with your bounty lead to community abundance. Measure your wealth by what you have to give. Oh, I love that. Apple tree contributes to the well-being of both the land and the people. Living to over 100 years, the tree supplies branches for the fencing material. They welcome pollinators, bear hundreds of pounds of fruit each season, and provide cold-preventing medicine with leaves and blossoms. I had no idea that you can create remedies from leaves and blossoms that prevent colds. That's amazing. Apples can last from autumn to the spring if properly stored. See, so when you care for resources with intention, you can feed more than yourself. Apples cut in half reveal the 5-pointed star. Believe in the magic of the earth. So that's another meaning here. Believing in the magic, of the earth. And then for crafting, I chose 1 point, which is make extra applesauce and share it with your friends, because it's the importance of sharing and reciprocity is very big in this card, across this whole deck, but this card specifically. Now, I'm gonna add 2 of the major arcana cards here, and I'm gonna put the Hermit here. So now if we look at the major arcana card Hermit. So first of all, did you notice the 3 crystals here? And we have connection to the 3 crystals here. Beautiful, right? And if you just compare it visually to this card, it has all the same color palette here. We see the background here the same as the sky. We see the green here the same as the trees. We have the berries here that are the same color as the seeds of the pomegranate. Very cool. But now if we look into the meaning of, the Hermit card, we know that the Hermit is all about journeying within, and that journeying within is usually not easy. And coming out on the other side, we come through usually wiser. Not only is this a beautiful connection to 9 of air, but also we see the owl's feather here, and we know that the owl, well, maybe we don't know, but the owl represents a challenge, but also wisdom, which this both is. It is not easy to go within, it's challenging, but then you come on the other side wiser. So in the Hermit, we find our inner light that is usually portrayed as a star in his lamp, like I said before, which is found here in the 9 of Earth. And I also like the metaphor of finding your inner light as it's portrayed here visually, because the light is on the inside of the wreath. We know that the pomegranate is also associated with the underworld. Therefore, the Hermit is a perfect archetype here as well, because we're going inside into the depths of our underworlds here. How cool is that? And then not only it connects to 9 of air, it also connects to 9 of fire, as going within and exploring the depths and hidden parts of our soul isn't an easy task. One needs to be determined to do it. And we can again see the red berries here, which are seen on this wreath as well. And then this brings us to the Moon card, which is also about shadow work. And I'm just going to put it here. First of all, Datura, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. It is the plant that blossoms in the night. And I love the fact that they chose it for the Moon card. It also represents beautifully the different phases of the moon, right? So the new moon, which is by the way today when I'm filming this, and a full moon in the inside of this beautiful chalice. It looks like a chalice to me, actually, filled with water. And then this flower, this blossom is on top, floating. I feel that this also portrays that the only constant thing in our life is change and evolution. Moon relates to 9 of water, for it is time to be with yourself, and the 9 of air for the journey of death and rebirth, so traveling in the underworld of darkness and awakening to the new light and new understanding of inner and also the outer world on a new level. I am going to leave you with this here. I hope that you have perhaps gained a different perspective on your cards. I would also be really happy if you could write in the comments below what your thoughts are on the cards, and if you noticed anything that I haven't noticed, or do you maybe find different meanings in the cards than I did. I would be really happy to read what you think in the comments below. I will see you next week when we are going to be looking into the number 10 and the card cards that associate with this number. But until then, I hope you stay well. I hope you have a great time wherever you are in this beautiful world, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.